Hey, what's up? These days I was messing around with some horror mangas because I don't have much to do. So I said, man, I'm gonna read a manga or two. I ended up finding some horror ones that I thought were interesting and started reading, but there was one in particular that really caught my attention, which was Pumpkin Night. This manga isn't that well known around here, but I'm not a huge fan of gore. Seriously, I don't like anime with a lot of blood and stuff because it makes me nauseous. But this specific manga really grabbed me because of its art. The art is really good, which is why I think it takes a long time for a chapter to come out, because it's pretty time-consuming. Also, not just the art, the story is good too. You get kind of distracted because you don't know the whole story, and I thought, man, I'm gonna do an analysis of the first chapter for you guys to see how good it is. So let's cut the chit-chat and get to it. The manga starts off strong. It begins with a girl scrolling through her Twitter looking at stuff like a picture of a dog dressed as a pig, until a creepy figure starts following her. She gets curious and checks out the profile. She finds it kind of funny at the moment, but I thought it was pretty creepy, and she ends up adding the creepy figure because she thought it was bold and funny. The creepy figure sends her a private message, but it's not a nice one. She's threatened with death, or it says it's time to die. At that moment, she gets all desperate and scared, which is a normal reaction anyone would have, and she wonders, how do they know my name? But she's not on Twitter with her real name, and she asks, who is this person? Then at one point, she thinks the doorbell rings, and she gets all freaked out, but it's just a mail delivery guy. She feels relieved at that moment, but I wouldn't be, because who delivers mail in the middle of the night? Only in Japan, maybe. She's relieved and goes to check what the delivery is, but when she gets there, the guy's dead with something on his head that I won't show because YouTube would give me a community strike since the scene is nasty. And then the serial killer shows up with a pretty peculiar knife. She tries to kill the girl, but the girl manages to close the door. Thank goodness, right? Because usually in cliches, they don't manage that. She was quick running. Soon she thinks about calling for help on her phone, but who could she call? Batman, the police, or her parents? I'm not gonna call my friend who has nothing to do with this, or does he? Well, she ends up calling her friend, and he's all confused, but he mentions something that happened. That girl escaped from the asylum, and she wonders, could it be her? Since the girl who escaped from the asylum killed everyone there. But then she gets stabbed in the back, drops her phone, and the guy on the phone keeps asking, what's happening? What's happening? She's scared, but she finds out who it is right in the first chapter. It's not one of those who's the serial killer suspense moments. Then she says her name, Naoko, please, I know I did wrong, forgive me. But it turns out she doesn't forgive her and does something that's a really grotesque and gory scene, so I won't show it. And that must have hurt a lot. Though I think it's impossible for a human to do what happened to her face. Even with her face all messed up, let's say, she tries to run, but Naoko starts following her wherever she goes, still holding the phone. The girl tries to run and escape, but since she can't see anything, she ends up getting hit by a truck, and it gets all bizarre. She's splattered and torn apart all over the street, and Naoko finally says into the phone that the girl's dead, and he's next. And then it shows the little group that messed with her, and she's probably going to hunt each one of them down. He even thinks about telling the police, but then Naruto shows up. Yeah, this character's name is Naruto, and I was like, dude, there's a character named Naruto? That's a bit much. But it seems they know a lot about who's Naoko, right? But instead of telling the police, which would be easier and better for the police to handle, they choose not to call them because there's something they're hiding, and that's where the chapter ends. I even thought about doing the second and third chapters in the same video, but it'd be too long. And besides, I want you guys to read it, but I don't know if this video will get much traction. So I might do a part 2 or part 3, you know. For now, I'll keep reading this manga and then check out others, like one they recommended to me just now, DeadTube. It seems pretty good, so if you've got anything to say, comment down below and all that. So see ya, bye-bye.